So thanks for joining the session, and we will be discussing again about Bitcoin mining fundamentals, which we have left in our previous call. And previous call, people had some doubts, and some of you have contacted me through DM. So some of replied I have already given, but maybe if some of the question I have missed, I will try to cover in this session itself. So before starting the session, I remember I think Saurabh and others has asked this question like, do we have any alternative for MEMS pool space? So yes, I can show you this MEMS pool space which we have used it in our previous session and we have discussed okay all those things. And as I have mentioned, this is just an open source project. And if you want to make your own mempool space, they also have all the open source code available on GitHub. So you can just search for GitHub, go there, and this is the whole source code. They have already mentioned all the installation steps and all those things. So this is nothing but they are running a full node and all the APIs and these things they are using through which you can see all those information here. Okay. And any alternative websites? Yes, there are few alternative websites, but the thing is the way mempool space shows all those things, that is a very better way as compared to other one. But we can see some of the websites which we can use. So I remember that was okay. Let me search. Yes. So here also you will see the same information. So you can see the latest blocks, okay, and what are the latest transaction. But this is not a very GUI friendly. You can see this because here you can see all those things and you can see in the visual form like, okay, how much it has filled, what are the blocks has been already mined and moves has mined. These information you can see it here. So there are some websites. Even I remember there is a website which will show you the information through some city. Okay, let me see if I can. I think yes. It will take some time, but okay. Here also, just like this. So here we can see because this is almost getting full, but we can see all the transactions are getting moved and some are getting added. The same way here you can see this, and the same way you can also see it here. So the transaction will get added like this. So there are several websites. In backend, yes, everyone is running the full node. And in the GUI, yes, how you want to implement it, you can make it. Okay, so there are a few websites. Even I will post those websites links on our mining group, so you can also have a look. So that was the first question. And yes, in our previous session, we have discussed about some of the malpractices done by mining pools. I was telling that, and I told you in the next session, maybe I will find some of the news and links, and I will share with you so you can also have a look. So, okay, maybe because here everyone might be aware about F2 pool. Okay, and let me open. Okay, I don't have a link handy. Just give me a second. So I think so. Yes, this is something. And there was one interesting thing in that what has happened. Maybe I can also show you the details. So here what has happened. Here like as per US policy they were filtering out some of the transaction which should not get added, but they were doing this transaction censorship and this should not happen, but they were doing that. But this is just a basic thing. But if you might be aware of Paxos incident, so let me search it and if I can find the link. Paxos incident. Okay. Okay, yes. Okay. So, okay, so you can see in Bitcoin, we have already read everywhere. If you have made the transaction will never be reversible, right? This we are already aware of it. But what has happened that time? There was a company named Paxos. they have done a transaction, and in transaction, once you are making the transaction, you have to mention the transaction fees, right, which you are going to pay. And instead of giving a transaction fees of 0.198 or something, 0.00198, by mistake they have placed 19.8 BTC, which is the highest transaction fees ever someone paid in Bitcoin transaction. Okay, so they have done this, but they have done it by mistake, and later F2 pool refunded that transaction fees to Paxos. So this should not happen ideally in a Bitcoin scenario, because we know if the transaction has been made, it should not be reversible. But these type of things they can do if they are centralized. Okay. So yes, there are so many incidents you will find it. So this is one of the important ones. So I thought, okay, we should add it. So that's why I have added it here. And you can read more about it. Maybe if you find so many other uh, blogs regarding that, you can read about it, because if they can do the same thing for this company, they can do it for others as well, and we are not sure what they are doing it internally, right? So these type
Uh,
of things, sorry, yeah, if someone has any
yeah,
question, yeah,
yes,
please.
Shivam. So, was the transaction reversed, or was
The
did F2
transaction
pool
fees,
just?
yeah, the transaction fees has been reversed to them, so I think the
Yeah,
ideal
not the
solution, yeah, yeah.
not the transaction, right? One cannot reverse a transaction. So they just refunded the extra fees through a new transaction.
Yes, exactly. I also not remember exactly. I also need to go through, but yes, the transaction fees they have refunded, and
Right.
I think
Yes.
they have modified that transaction or something, and that I think the transaction fees also that modified, and they have refunded rest of them, that 19.8 that has done. But see, this we are already aware, but maybe they are doing something else as well, because if they can do this, maybe they can do. So that's why people are focusing more on Bitcoin centralization. And this is another thing which we have discussed about, like the censorship of the transaction. So they can also filter it out. Okay, which are the transaction we want to include, and if they want to filter it out, some of the transaction by individual, they can also filter it out. So that is some of the concern from the centralized mining pools. Okay, so I think I have covered one of some of the alternative, which was the earlier doubt, and some of the malpractices done by the mining pools. Other than that, if someone has any doubts, they can ask it. Otherwise, we will start further regarding the proof of work puzzle and all those things. So if someone has any doubts or anything, they can ask. Otherwise, we can continue further. Okay. So as we are already aware of, like if you need to approve some transactions, you have to do proof of work puzzle. You have to solve that thing. You have to find the hash with these norms, and norms will increase if the difficulty will increase, and these are things are dynamic. So yes, some people say, okay, why do we need to do this if we can use proof of a stake model as well? Someone has some concern about this, like, okay, why we need proof of work or why we need proof of stake. So I will give an analogy. Okay, this is just my assumption. So think like this, in India also, we have this election thing, right? So if we will compare proof of stake with the election, so what we can do, okay, if we want to choose a leader, we can also make a lottery system. Okay, the person who will, and there would be a probability. So if the person who has more money, they can purchase more and more lottery tickets, and the chances of getting elected would be more. So that would be something we can relate with proof of stake. So the person who has more financial background as compared to others, maybe they have a higher authority in this case. But if we will compare proof of work, so that's we are still doing, right? In that there would be a competition, there would be so many candidates will be fighting for this leadership, and they will be also investing some of the, just like electricity we are investing it, they are also investing money, time, efforts, fossil fuels, all those things, right? So, but in this case, the everyone will be having the chance because it does not depends on the proof of stake or how much money do you have. It how much you can put the effort, and everyone has 24 hours and they can put the efforts on top of that. That's why I believe if you are comparing proof of stake with proof of work, it is little better in this is just my opinion and this is the analogy which I feel. Okay. So yes, yeah, we have to solve those things. And earlier once they started, so how this proof of work secure Bitcoin, which we have already discussed, right? The competition will get started, and whichever miner will find a hash with the norms which is meeting with the competition or the target which we are using, it will win all the things. But in this case, it should be a solo miner. So if you want to have all the Bitcoin rewards along with the transaction fees, if you are running as a solo miner, yeah, you will get all the rewards. We will also see earlier, like in 2010, 15, even when once I have started, I have also started as solo mining that time because everyone was doing solo mining because the difficulty was very less. I remember in 2000 because 2010 it was 2010 11 it was difficulty for one or two zeros nonce. And then yeah, so that was the CPU era. In that, like you can use any of the Intel CPUs, like you can use i3, i5, i7, i9, and you can also do because difficulty was less. And as I mentioned, like this is just a guessing thing. You can use those high-end CPUs and you can do that. Maybe it is not for a general purpose thing, but we were able to do it till 2012, 13 as well. But then GPU came into the picture. People started using graphic processor unit from NVIDIA, and the thing was, see, you can also use CPU, but the problem is you should be profitable. And how you will become the profitable? You have to do the calculation how much your operation expenses are, means how much OPEX and how much you are earning from that, right? In CPU case, this is not a very efficient technique because whatever hash you will be getting, it should be something. So maybe I can mention it in here and we will also discuss parallelly. So if you will discuss or if you will use any CPU, so I will take an example of i9. Okay, so if i7 or i9 Intel CPU, most probably the power consumption should be something around 60 to 100 watt. So the power consumption is very, very less as compared to GPU. And even if you see the ASIC, so ASIC will always be like in thousands watt, right? So yes, the power consumption is less in CPU, but what are the hash rate you are getting or what are the efficiency you are getting? Okay, so efficiency mostly you will be getting very high. Means I could not remember the exact one because it depends on the CPU, but it should be more than that. And this is a very, very inefficient for Bitcoin mining. Then people started moving on GPU, and in GPU, like the power consumption would be more for sure. So for GPU, if you will compare any NVIDIA GPU, it would be something around 150 to 250 watt, and maybe the efficiency will get half, so higher efficient, or I would say approx double efficient as compared to CPU. But and that was during 2013, and I believe the 13. I'm not pretty sure, but the difficulty levels was something. I think 10 to 14 zero was there. I guess I'm not exactly sure, but it was something around this because many people has started doing the mining. So people move from CPU to GPU, but that was also not efficient because if you are if you want to make sure you have to increase the efficiency more and more. Then people started moving FPGA, and if you will ask, okay, which company FPGA they were using, so the popular FPGAs are mostly coming either from Xilinx and Intel, and now Xilinx already acquired by AMD. So 2 3 years ago they have acquired it. So now Xilinx is a part of AMD. So only AMD and Intel was creating FPGA. Intel has already shown their FPGA business now, but Xilinx was very popular, and people were using this Xilinx FPGA to mine. And if you will ask me what was the efficiency, efficiency dropped a lot. It was something around 1,000 joules per terahash. But the problem is FPGA was very costly. So if you want to use FPGA, it would be more costly than ASIC. So later what people have started doing it, people have started using ASIC, which is nothing but application
Anira, Vicky, Raja,
specific integrated circuit.
and
That means this application specific integrated circuit will be only designed to do certain tasks. And in this case, it will or it has been designed only for SHA-256 hash. So the ASICs which has been designed especially for this purpose,
Vicky,
that can
oh,
be used for ASIC, and the efficiency was very less. Means that efficiency got increased as compared to FPGA, because now this is application. You can't run, if you want to use this ASICs to write a hello program, you can't do that. If you want to use this to multiply 6 numbers, maybe you will not able to do that, because the only task this ASIC will do, that will be doing this SHA-256 hashing. So ASIC will be only designed for a single task. It will always be doing only single task, and you cannot change this task. For that, you have to use a different ASIC. You cannot program this ASIC to do another task. Okay, so in CPU, these are the flexibility available. GPU has this flexibility. Even FPGA also has some flexibility. Like if you want, you can change this, and maybe later it will do some other task other than the SHA-256 has. But in ASICs, if it has been designed in such a way that it will only do the SHA-256 hashing, it will always be doing the SHA-256 hashing. Okay. Now, okay, so during CPU and GPU time, everyone was doing the solo mining. Now you will ask, okay, right now let us suppose I want to use BitX
Vicky, आ रहा
just
हूँ
for
मैं.
a purpose, and then you want to do the solo mining.
कितना
So
बोले?
what are the things you have to look for? So let us suppose,
172.
uh, so yeah, so if you want to do the solo mining and if you are using BitX, you don't
भूपेंद्र
want to
सिंह.
use any of the mining pool, you have to set up. I hope the font size is visible, right? Or should I need to increase it? Uh, can anyone?
हाँ.
Yeah, it's
It's
fine.
visible, right?
आराम से
Okay,
रखिए.
okay.
चुपचाप चला आगे.
So, okay,
चुपचाप.
so
हाँ?
There is some
can,
crosstalk, it seems.
yeah, I'm not sure. I think
Keshav,
someone has unmuted.
to mute Keshav.
Thank you, Krishav. So, yeah, so if anyone wants to use the solo mining, what he has to do, first thing is he has to set up and run a Bitcoin full node. So maybe using the mining pool is very easy because you will be getting all those configuration. You just need to configure it in the BitX, and BitX will start working and contributing their hash on mining pool. But if you want to do solo mining, you have to make sure you will install the Bitcoin core, you will configure it fully to verify the blockchain. And after that, you also need to make sure it is sync with the full blockchain. And if it is, you also need to make sure it should enable the RPC. So RPC is nothing but a protocol. So if you are not aware, RPC is just a protocol, maybe to communicate with the server and all those things. So in Bitcoin Core, there are some configuration which you can use. So if you want to enable the RPC server, you just need to set, if I'm not wrong, server equal 1, I believe, and it will enable the RPC. The same thing, like if you want to enable the transaction, you also need to make sure you will do the transaction index equal to 1, and it will also enable it in your Bitcoin code. If these things has been enabled, you also need to make sure your node has some Bitcoin address, because you will be, let us suppose, maybe as a solo miner also, you there is a probability, if the probability is very less, but there is a probability, if you are able to mine it successfully, you will get the reward along with the transaction, all the combination of the transaction which you will getting from the block. So you should make sure the node has some Bitcoin address where you will be getting all the mining rewards. And if you have all those things, you can just connect with the IP address, RPC port, and whatever the username password you are using for this Bitcoin node setup. And after that, you can start the solo mining and you can monitor and maintain all those things. So yes, it takes a little effort, but in a mining pool, it is little easy to do that. But now someone would ask, okay, why, when someone should use solo mining or should we use mining pool? So it's up to you. So we can think about this logic, right? Like uh, we purchase bike, we purchase car. What the first thing we do? We take insurance. And what the insurance companies do? So you can relate that insurance company as a mining pool companies, because if you are not taking insurance, anything happen with your car or bike, you are fully responsible for all the expenses. You have to bear it. The same thing happened with the solo mining. So the all the profit which you will be getting, that would be yours, but all the loss which you will be getting, that will be also yours. But if you take the insurance of your bike, you have to pay some of the premium, insurance premium. But anything happen with your bike or car, maybe the insurance company, whatever he has collected from all the people, they will invest some of the money to claim those insurance. The same thing in the Bitcoin mining. So they, you have to contribute the hash rate. So there are certain model every mining pool use. Like if you want to see, okay, how much they are paying, maybe, okay, we can also see that. If we'll go F2 pool, and it depends, okay. So right now it is showing, if you are giving 1 terahash, maybe they are giving you 0.0504 for this 1 terahash contribution. Okay, this is approx. And even if you will see how much cut they will be getting, so if you will see, okay, how Ocean Pool, how much cut they will take, so they might take 1 to 2%, but it also depends. Like if you're a big company, because I know many of the companies, European companies, if they are doing Bitcoin mining in a larger scale, they can have an individual contract with companies like Ocean Pool or all other mining pools companies, and sometimes they will have to pay just 0.1% or 0.01. So you can think this is a very negligible amount they have to pay. So it depends, but yes, for a general people, yeah, we have to pay the amount which is mostly there for all the people. So yes, you can see how much you are getting, and this will be fluctuating. So maybe today is this, tomorrow you will come, maybe the rate would be different. Okay. So yes, in this case, uh, if you are doing the solo mining, all the profit will be yours, but all the like if you are not able to win and all those things happen, then all the loss would be also yours. But in you are using mining pools, yes, then you are contributing your hash rate, even you mine or some other person who are also the part of the mining pool mines, everyone will get uh, each share based on the contribution you are doing. So if you are putting 50% of the hash rate and some guy is putting 50% or 30%, 20% based on the percentage of the hash rate you are contributing using your hardware, you will be getting the percentage accordingly of the reward. Okay. Now we will also see, okay, where is the, how they will generate this virgin coin and these things, right? how they will. So okay, so let us suppose we will see this, and in this, if we will see the first transaction, you can see this Coinbase, right? So if it is mentioned Coinbase, this is a Virgin coin. Okay, so the first time they will add this Virgin coin, and it is kind of because the currently reward is 3.14900, and okay, and whatever this is saying, okay, you can ignore this. This sometimes they use it for some internal wording and all those things. Every company will be having different. If you want to see for a via BTC, it should be different. So yes, you can see this. But if you will go, so this address, if you will go to this address, copy it, and if you will go to any Bitcoin Explorer, right? Any of them, if maybe I can open one. So okay, hope it will not ask for sign up. Okay, so it is showing this is for via BTC mining pool, and you can see all the Virgin coin which they are. Okay, just okay. I think they are asking for sign up. Mm, okay, just give me a second. If I can find any of the temporary email, I can just open it. Just give me a minute. Oh, okay. No, let me double check the password. Okay, let me try this one. Mm, okay, we can, or okay, I can just do it with any of the temporary email, and I will change it later. Oh, okay. Okay, I will copy paste the address here again. And you can see whatever uh, the Virgin coins they are getting. Okay, so I know someone might have asked me this question, like, can they use this Bitcoin? So if I'm just asking this question with the audience. Okay, so this via BTC mining pool, they have received this Virgin coins, right? 3.138, 3.165, 165. Can they use these Bitcoins right now, or they can't use it? Or if they can't use it, when they can use it? Any of you are aware of it? Like
They have
along
to
with, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
do they have to wait for 100 blocks?
Yes, yes. So they have to wait for 100 blocks. So this is the requirement. They cannot able to spend. These are the Virgin Bitcoins along with the transaction, whatever they get, right? So whatever the Bitcoin reward they are getting, they cannot use it until or unless the 100 blocks will get mined. Then only they can able to use all those. Okay. Yes. And even the same way you can also see it for all other mining pools. Uh, if I will go here and maybe we will go above. So we can see any other as well, like okay, Foundry USA. So the Foundry USA, most probably they will be okay. So if we will just copy this address, okay, and we can come here, just search, and we can see okay, when, because all the mining pool, uh, the Foundry distill all the mine like all the blocks he has mined, that rewards might be getting here, so we can see okay how much they are able to perform in just 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, all those which are you are seeing as a Coinbase, because these are the virgin bitcoins. Okay, so you can also check it for all other pools. So yes, then one more question someone has asked, okay, if we want to choose the miner, so which miner we have to choose and how we have to find it out whether it is profitable or not. So we will also discuss that thing. Maybe not in detail, but I will just tell you a very simple logic, because for everyone this would be different. Because the profit and all those things would be very dynamic. So you need to make sure first you have to find out or calculate your OPEX, and how we can do that, we will see that. So let us suppose if you want to see the list of uh, the list of maybe the devices which you will be using. So maybe first we will look for some of the list. So ASIC miner list, I can open any of this, and you can open to any website, maybe ASIC miner value as well. This is also good. So if I will open, I will choose BTC. I can see all the model. Okay. And two things you should be aware of. So what are those two things? And even you can also calculate it manually if you want to calculate it. And if you don't want to calculate it, I have just uploaded a normal Python script on GitHub. So you can also use that. Okay, let me see if I have. So this is the script, and I can also run it, and I can show it to you how you will calculate all those things. You can also do it manually, but every time you can't do it manually for each miner if you want to purchase any one of them. So okay, it's loading. Just give me a minute. Okay, let me see if I have. Yes. You just need to run, and you just need to tell few of the things. Okay, so whichever miner you are using, so this will only tell you the OPEX, means your operation expenses, how much operation expenses you want. So this is hash rate I have to go. Okay, so I will go back here. Even you can also calculate it for CPU and GPU as well. So this is not related to any of the machine, like this is just for ASIC. No, you can, if you know the hash rate and all those things, you can use it. So what we can do is we will come here and we can open any of the uh, miners. So any miner we can take it. So these are the very latest one. Maybe I can choose which one is very old and popular if we have already used it. So okay, let's any any of this we can take it. So maybe I can take an example of this, and if you come here, so you can see you have a hash rate, right? So they are mentioning 270 terahash per second plus minus 5%. Okay, so you can also take a calculation of plus minus 5% as well. I'm just putting it roughly at the moment. So 270 terahash per second. Then what is the miner efficiency? So this should also be there in the same website. If you, yeah, so they are telling the efficiency is something around 13.5 joule per terahash for this specific Bitmain Antminer S21 XP. If you will be using different, So let us suppose we will also see the different miner. So 21 XP, and I will open a XP Plus as well. And here you can see it has a 500 terahash per second plus minus 5%, and also efficiency is 11 joule per terahash. Before discussing terahash, anyone knows how much zeros will be there for terahash? Because it is a little difficult, right? Sometimes we see terahash, but now if you are seeing the latest one, if I will show you the latest one here, okay, if I will remove this search, so they have mentioned petahash, right? They have mentioned is G hash per second, right? So it is sometimes very difficult to understand others, okay, how, what is the terahash? So everyone is aware about million, I believe million, billion,
Yeah, a trillion, right? A terahash will have a
trillion.
trillion hashes.
Uh, Terahash, yes. So terahash will be having a trillion hashes. That means nothing but 1000 billion, sorry, 1000. And if petahash is mentioned, that means 1000 trillion. So yes, you can relate terahash with trillion. And if you will ask me how much zeros would be there in trillion, I think 12, but I'm not sure because billion will be having 9 zeros, and if we will add 3 more, so 9, 10, 11, 12. So yes, trillion will be having 12 zeros. Okay, so you can think like 12 zero hashes per second. Okay, I'm assuming it these are the 12 zeros. I haven't calculated it, but assume it these are 12 zeros. So this much hashes per second AC can handle it. Okay, so this is very much like CPU cannot able to handle it even if you do if you divide the task to multiple CPUs as well, it is not even possible. So yes, so terahash we have seen. Now I will come back to the script. I have given terahash. I have to give this efficiency. So efficiency, okay, what was the efficiency? Uh, okay, so efficiency is 13.5 joule per terahash. So I will just write 13.5. Even sometimes we also take some extra buffer based on this because this is an ideal case sometime, okay? Just like the consumption is plus minus 5% in this thing. So it also depends. So every big companies has some offset value which they multiply with this efficiency. But for an individual person, we don't need to do it because they are doing it in a multiple because they might be using hundreds and thousands of these devices. In general case, you will be using only one, so difference will not be much. But if they are doing in a larger quantity, then yes, they have to calculate offset and they have offset for each model and they calculate it. But here, for simplicity, we are just taking it 13.5. Now you also need to tell electricity rate. So uh, in India, I'm not sure how much is the electricity rate, but I can take any of the example. Okay, so we will take 3. So maybe 3 cents because I think ideally in India it should be 3 4 cents per kilowatt hour. But if it is this, I will give all those three value and it will give me one miner 1 month how much would be the total electricity cost. Because if everything is running on 24 hours, so the power consumption should be something around this and the monthly operation expenses. So there are two types of expenses, right? So one is CapEx, one is OpEx. CapEx is how much you are, how much capital you are investing, like to buy the miners and all those things. Custom will also be take care and all those things. OpEx is okay, you will be running the miner and on monthly basis, because this is a profit and loss game, right? So everything is a number. So if you know how much operation costs, so let us suppose I am running a business. I know if I will be running this business 24 cross 7, my monthly expenses are 3 lakh rupees. And if I'm not earning more than 3 lakh rupees, that means my business will be in loss, right? So even if you are doing individual mining itself, you have to calculate your own OPEX, and on monthly basis you have to note it down because the profit will vary, right? Because sometimes if you are using mining pool, because solo pool you can't do anything. If you are using mining pool, the prices will also be dynamic. Okay, so sometimes they will give more, sometimes they will give, even you can see the hash rate index. Okay, so okay, if you want to see how much hash rate you might be getting, so there are a few websites which you can use. So you can just write hash rate index. So yes, this is a hash rate index website, but I think somehow from past 1 2 days it is not working well. But let me try if it is working. For me somehow, okay, so it is working. You can see how much generic uh, hash rate. So this is in petahash, right? So you have to make sure you will be calculating for terahash, and then you can do all the calculation how much you will be getting. Okay, and operation expenses you can calculate it just by this calculation. Okay, so for this case, once your electricity is 0.03, the monthly operation expenses would be 79.83. So if you are earning more than this, then that should be your profit. If you are not able to earn this thing and you have to add all those uh, maintenance surveys, and if and one more thing, like if you are using hydro or water cooling or some other thing, in that also you have to make sure this is what they are talking about here, because it depends whether you are using hydro or we are using water cooling and other thing, and if you are putting external fan and all those things. Sometimes people put external control board or PSU for different reason. Then you have to make sure your consumption would get increased, and based on that you have to manually calculate your efficiency, and you have to do that. But this is for companies. If you're working for a company as a mining consultant, and or if you're working for any service provider companies, then you have to do all those things. Every big company has the whole script. What you just need to do is you will just, they have a GUI thing. You just need to log in it, click on update button, it will update and it will show you all the details. Internally all the scripts would be running, and they will you can see all the information, like okay, if you have your setup in Texas, you have your setup in some other place, you can see okay how much OPEX is, because OPEX is mostly fixed calculated, but as a dynamic you can see, and if some of the devices are not working, you can also see it on real time how things are happening. Now, some of you might ask, okay, how we have calculated this? Because this is, I'm just running a Python script, and that is a very basic script. Even if you read this script, you will get to know I'm not, even if you're not technical, you can also do. But see, manually every time multiplying it will take so much time. So you can also use this thing, but you should know how we are doing it. So I'm just taking all those three parameters, and once you get the parameter, you have to calculate the watt. And how we calculate the watt? Because you know the efficiency means how much joules per terahash you are using, how much hash rate terahash you have. If you multiply both of them, you will be getting the power. Okay, but that should be in watt. So whatever you are getting, you have to divide it by 1000 if you want to calculate in kilowatts. So I am doing the same thing. So you can, so I can also try to do it manually. So okay, so this was okay, 1 second. This was our calculation. I will just copy this, paste it here, and we will also try to do it manually to see if we are coming up with the same value or not. Okay. So minor hash rate is 270 and joule per terahash is 13.5, which I'm doing it here. And if I will multiply it, just give me a second, I will do the multiplication, and I will put it 270 multiply 13.5. It should be 3645. That is in watt. If I want to do it in kilowatt, it should be 3.645 kilowatt, which we are getting it here as a power consumption, right? Now, if you want to calculate this OPEX, what you need to do is the simple way is you can calculate per month basis, right? So per month you will see, okay, we have 24 hours, 30 days, but the problem is sometimes you have 31, sometimes you have a 30 days. So how you will do that? So mostly what you will do, because you need to calculate in per hour basis. So do it yearly. Okay. So if you have a 365 days and hours would be 365 multiplied by 24. And if you will divide it by 12, you will get exact monthly one. Okay. And if you will do it, it should be 365 multiplied by 2. And if I'm not wrong, yes, 365 multiplied by 2, and it should be 730. So you can directly multiply this kilowatt with the per month hours, assuming you are running your miner 24 cross 7. If you are not running, change the value accordingly, change this value accordingly, change the 730 hours accordingly. So what I'm trying to do is the kilowatt which we have, that is 3.645 multiply by 730. I'm assuming it would be running 24 cross 7 and 10 electricity charge. Okay, so in our case we have mentioned 3 4 cents, so it should be 0.03. Yes, 0.03 we took last time itself. So we will do the same, and if we will multiply it, we will see how much we are getting. So let me multiply it. 3.645 multiplied by 730 multiplied by 0.03. It should come 79.8255, which is approximately, it is showing 79.83. So this is your minor electricity cost if you are running 24 cross 7. So you have to make sure whatever you are earning, that should be more than that. And that will also helpful because you will not do this calculation every time. What you have to do is you have to find out what should be the hash rate. Okay, so see this is also fluctuating a lot, right? This time the USD petahash per day was $54. Now it is just okay, uh, just 50. Okay, and okay, it was around 55.82. So even in 1 month duration only, the fluctuation are a lot, right? So what you can do is, if you are doing individual mining, every time maybe you will not be profitable. So that thing you should always be aware of. So you have to calculate it. Maybe in the next session, uh, we will discuss it how to calculate the whole offset and also find out what should be the hash rate price. In that we will be profitable. You just need to find that value, and if it is going below that, maybe you can stop for some time because anyhow it will again come up. And one thing you always remember, if you are mining in countries like where the electricity pricing are cheap, like Ethiopia or some of the African countries, then we will see again the calculation here. So what will get changed here? This will get changed here. Okay. So now for simplicity, what I'm trying to do is I will just multiply 3.645 and 730. 3.645, 730, it should come around 2660 approx. And this is your electricity rate. So if your electricity is half as compared to US, because you might be aware, like m- most of the miners, so uh, exact I'm not sure, but roughly 28 to 30% miners are also coming from China, from US. So if your electricity is half, your chances is little less as compared to those guys, because it is a direct multiplicable. Okay, so if someone is multiplied by 1 and someone is multiplied by 2, the difference is half. So if so much hash rate index would get fluctuated, then maybe you will be in loss. Okay, so these ways you can calculate, and it would different, because even in India, state wise, like in Maharashtra, the electricity pricing would be different. For Karnataka, it is different. For UP, it is different, right? But at least if you are doing a job in a company, also you have to do these calculations. You have to know all those things, because once you are consulting with some of the company who wants to set up all those things, you have to show them all in details, and you have to tell them when they will be earning money and what are the most of the time they will not be earning money. Okay, so at least you got the basic idea. And let us suppose if this hash rate index is not working, because right now it started working, but I remember yesterday I was trying it, the website itself was not working. There is another website you can try it. I think it should come here itself. Or you can refer this website itself. That is also fine. And yes, any doubts so far till here regarding the calculation or anything, or regarding this minor or anything? Means here, okay, you just need to choose this. You can see all the, and why you might be thinking why I'm seeing this Bitmain, because as I mentioned, 60 to 70% share are with Bitmain. And if you want to see the SOCs and all those things, so if you are a technical guy, you can go to their website. There are some documents available, but they are not exposing everything. But if you want to read more, maybe go to Canon ASIC. And here also, sometimes you will able to find the ASIC documents itself, the architecture. Uh, and if you are working with them, they will also share all those things, and you can go through it, how those architecture and these things work. But performance-wise, right now, no one can beat Bitmain. This is my personal experience. I have tried multiple vendors, but yes, but you don't need to worry about performance, but because as a profitable, you have to look for price to performance ratio, right? And as Bitmain are the champion in in this industry, they are always selling their miner on a premium price. Anyone has any doubts or anything, or they can ask for any questions so far? So mostly, see here
How do
also.
you
Sorry, yeah, please go ahead.
how do you calculate Bitmain is priced at a premium price? Like, do you gauge that through terahash per
Yeah,
like
yes.
dollars
So
that they charge?
yes, that yeah, roughly you can also see, okay, how much terahash they are giving, okay, and how much is the cost. Just calculate it simplicity and take any of the Canon one and see it. Definitely Canon pricing would be little lower as compared to Bitmain. So yes, that is the simple way you can see that. You can see the whole pricing, you can see how much petahash they are providing, and based on that you can also see uh, Canon one, and the price to performance ratio would be more optimal in Canon as compared to Ant miner. The second one would be the Watts miner, and there are some advantage in Watts Miner, but once in our upcoming session, what we will do, okay, so upcoming session would be more interesting, because see right now everything you are seeing in the box, right? Once we cover all those basics, I will try to remove this box and we will see what are inside this miner. And if you are interested, what are the things you can also build it. Like there are few companies I am aware of in India, they are also started working on PSU. Okay, so PSU is very easy to make because we are making PSU for so many things. We have so many other devices because PSU for any industrial devices, PSU for miner, it is somewhat similar. You just need to know how much power you have to give and all those things. You have to, based on that, you have to prepare a PSU, power supply unit. PSU is nothing but power supply unit. So power supply unit is same for everyone. Like what you just need to know how much power you need to give to ASIC, how much power you need to give to once I'm saying ASIC, I'm saying ASIC board because there would be hundreds of ASICs inside that one miner, right? How much power you need to give to control board, and if any extra thing is there, how much power you need to give to fan if it is a fan and all those things because here also you have to give, right? So all the open source companies, they are outsourcing these things and some of the companies have started working on it. So yes, this is also the simplest thing people can do. Second thing is definitely a fan on these things. That is also very easy. Then third is control board and the hardest one is the ASIC board.
Yeah, Shivam, I
So
have a question.
yeah,
This PSU that you're talking about, usually does Bitmain when they bring out their own machines, do they make it or do they outsource it?
no, they make it their own.
Okay,
Okay.
so whatever like so there is an aftermarket like requirement for PSUs. Is that what is what I understand? Is it correct or?
Okay, so yes, and there is another thing because many of the open source community is making their open source miner, right? Just like few of the European companies, right? So I cannot give example, but think about a company and because I know many of the companies are outsourcing PSU because this is a non-core thing for them. Like
Mhm,
if you are an ASIC expert, you don't want to waste your time and energy to make a PSU.
mhm.
Okay. So what generally POC like if any company, so I would not name, so there is a European company, let us suppose, and they are doing a POC and wants to make uh, open source um, Bitcoin miner. See, they will only focus on ASIC and control board. 90% which I am aware of, they'll outsource POC work. Means they will collaborate with you. They will tell you, okay, what type of ASIC we want, but the manufacturing and all because see, PSU, all the companies cannot make because you need some certification. Just like the PSU, the Bitmain has added, they have to qualify some certification, then only they can sell it to the market. So if any R&D company or PSU company, which they, or companies, they want to work on this mining, they don't want to take headache of these all those things, certification, all those things for PSU related. Most of them, they will find some companies and they will say, okay, this communication protocol they will use. So if you'll ask me what of the communication protocols they use, so there is a very famous communication protocol, PM bus. Okay, so if you will search it, you will find the documents itself. And most of the PSUs internally will be using PM bus. If you will ask me, okay, whether Bitmain is also using same thing, I cannot tell. Even if I know, I cannot tell. But you can check it. You can try to do reverse engineering. You can see whether they are using or not. So Some companies are using proprietary, but yes, you can use this bus if you are doing out if you want to do outsource, and that will be compatible with all open source uh, miners. Yeah, someone was asking
Yeah.
something.
I have another question. Like, if uh, do like after Bitmain ships its miners and people rack it up and start using, with respect to repairs and replacement, do the miners necessarily have to procure the PSUs from Bitmain, or or can they go, or do they procure aftermarket PSUs that
Okay,
are sold to other vendors?
so it depends. If the company is bigger like Tether, maybe they have their own team, so they will handle all those things. But if they have a smaller team, they don't have a specific R&D team or some team for this PSU or these things. Mostly they have a contract with Bitmain. So if they are supplying this, so just like if you are contacting with these companies like Bitmain or WhatsMiner, so you can always negotiate with them how much support they will be giving. And sometimes they will say, okay, if I am giving you hundreds of devices and 10 of devices if something has happened, we will do it free of charge. But if more than that, 10, then you have to bear it. So most of the contract and these things would be like this only. So for some cases, let us suppose in 1 year time period, you have only 10 devices which has some issue. So maybe they will provide you all the raw parts free of cost and you just need to assemble it and you can use it. But if more than 10, then if 11, so for one, they will send you the quotation. You have to pay for it. You can use it. And the other thing is similar, like because they will be always giving you in premium, like similar, like if you have an iPhone, if you want to change a battery, even if you want to change, if you want to purchase original charger, Apple will charge you very, very high piece, right? Same, they also do. So if anything got damaged or anything, the charges are very, very costly, even for one ASIC, okay? So what they generally do, maybe they will, if that is a big company, they will see, okay, do they have a spare parts in which the PSU is working fine, the hashboard is not working fine, they will take out the PSU, connect it in this new one. If not, maybe they will try to uh, find out compatible, which are selling compatible PSUs. Currently, there are companies, okay, there are few companies I know. So they are saying their PSUs are compatible with this Ant Miner model. So if you have this model, you can purchase the third party PSU as well, and it will work fine with them as well because they have already tested it. So yes, for some model it is available, for maybe some model it is not available. So this is also a good business people do. So because most of the time, yes, the PSU business they will avoid because PSU is a different thing, and if someone is already doing PSU, they will do it. Otherwise, they will definitely outsource it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as I gather, like there are some third-party PSU sellers that sell PSUs compatible to certain
Yes,
Bitmain.
yes, yes, yes. They
Okay.
are Chinese player. I'm not sure if I can name it, but yes, they are Chinese player. Maybe if you can ping me personally, I can share the name because this is live. So those are providing the PSUs, which is compatible with Antminer. So
Okay.
because Antminer is very, very popular, so you will find so many companies providing PSUs for Antminer. But if you will ask for what's miner or Canon, maybe there would be very few of them, maybe one or two, not more than that. So
Hmm.
yes, and their whole business is like that. So they are making a PSUs. So but they are not just making PSUs for Bitcoin mining companies. So they are already into this business for PSU manufacturing. Like they might be creating PSUs for maybe marine ships, right? They are creating PSUs for all the big electrical equipments. So they are already into the business, but now because they know like Bitcoin mining is also little profitable, so they can charge little premium. So they are also manufacturing these PSUs for them. But they will take it as like they will not like if you want to customize it, you can also customize it, but there is a limited order you have to place. And if you place it, they will also customize it based on your requirement. Because most of the time the POC teams will need a customized PSU because their design of the miner would be different, and they want to make sure the PSU will get aligned with their miner or all the hash board, ASIC boards and control boards. So yes, they will always discuss with those companies, do the modification in the designing, and then they will say, okay, these and some extra thing if they want. Let us suppose in Antminer case, they want to communicate with PSU with some other protocol. They don't want to use this power management bus. So they can say, okay, just add another type C cable or adapter. So we can connect type C and through that we can do the communication. Or you can use I2C or SPI and we want to communicate through SPI because our firmware supports SPI. So yes, these modification those company does and based on that they will manufacture and give it to them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anyone has any other question? Because most of the things we have covered it for today. So top mining Asics, yes. So you can see this. This is S21 Pro. You will find all those details here. So if you will go this asicminervalue.com, you can find it. What are the because most of the things you have to look for this terahash per second and the efficiency. Okay, and these are the popular one. If you will ask me what are the difference, so maybe in a nutshell, if I will say in a layman language, maybe the ASIC is more powerful Bitmain, but Watts miner is also like some of the communication protocol Watts miner has very fast as compared to Ant miner. So yes, because everyone has a R&D team, and if you might ask, okay, what is Avalon? Avalon is nothing but they are from Canon, and the Canon CEO is a PhD guy. He's a genius guy, and he earlier started Canon, he was part of Bitmain only. So he was the part of the Bitmain core R&D team, and I believe he was the person who developed all the main stable ASICs for Bitmain. But later he left and he founded another company, Canon, and now most of the team are currently working on Canon at the moment. So they are also doing pretty well, but as you know, like Bitwarden was the first mover, and in hardware, you have to optimize your hardware so lot. Like, think about Nvidia. So, similar like Bitcoin, there is a huge market in AI. And anyone knows, like, okay, if Nvidia is selling uh, any GPU or AI processor for 100K USD, I'm just giving you an example. Do you know how much profit Nvidia gets by selling one GPU of 100K USD? Any percentage guess if you can give? Like how much do you think? 10%, 20%? How much they might be uh, earning by selling one hardware of one GPU if the price is this?
I think they
So
make about 60-70% of that. Good 60%.
correct, correct. So yes, 70-80%. And some of the latest models, the margins are like very, very high, 80%, up to 80%. So you can think like, okay, if they are selling, so this is just assuming, I'm assuming, okay, so if the order is for 100K USD, so for them, if it is latest ASIC or they are taking, so this is the profit they are generating, okay? So everyone wants to go there, right? If someone will tell me this is a business, I will get 70 to 80% margin. I would definitely wants to join that, right? But the problem is hardware is hard. And if you want to make, and many companies are making, see, Nvidia is not the first company, right? They are, if you see the second best company is Broadcom, they are also doing very good. And if you will see the stock, that is also going similar like Nvidia. But there, if you know Intel, okay, so Intel have also purchased a company named Gaudi. Okay, so if you search this company, this is an Israeli company. Intel has already purchased it. They are doing better than Nvidia in price to performance ratio. Okay, just like Canon. Okay, So Canon is doing little better, as I mentioned, in price to performance ratio, but still everyone is using NVIDIA because NVIDIA is optimized. Their hardware is pretty optimized for most of the tasks, and also everyone using this CUDA, right, to making all those things. So yes, that is also the main thing. So here, similar way. So their ASIC, maybe their control board is not better, their PSU is not better, maybe the other thing is not better, but in Bitmain, the ASIC or maybe the heating optimization which they have done, uh, and they have invested long, long time, maybe these guys will take a lot of time to catch up. So that is the thing, and similar with all those things as well. So yes, anyone has any doubts, anything related to the previous session? Next session we will try to cover more. Uh, this mostly on the mining pool side. We will try to cover the fees related thing, and also we will try to find out, okay, if we are joining F2 pool and if we have purchased this miner, so when we have to continue doing the mining or when we have to stop it. So these are the calculation we will also see. And yes, this is available here, and even I will also post this because this is a very basic script. Okay, you can also prepare your cell script itself, and we have also discussed how you can do it calculation manually. But I will also copy paste it, put it uh, in mining channel. So anyone, if they want to use it, they can use it. Just they need a Python. So Python should install. We just use Python and script. Okay, and anyone has any any question, any queries, anything they want to discuss?
I had one question actually, Shivam.
Sure,
On the one of the slides that one of the
sure, sure.
where you were showing the profitability. I think yes, somewhere there, right?
Okay, yes. So this is a very generic one. So because uh, this is very generic because the electricity cost, as I mentioned, right, the electricity cost and all those things will vary a lot, right?
Yeah, got it. What I
Yeah.
wanted to understand is you mentioned their electricity cost could be anywhere between 60 and 80%. Is that just of the operational expense, or is that
Yeah, this is just for OpEx. Otherwise, the CapEx is the huge, right? And
yeah,
CapEx is not just about okay. So sometimes people feel like, okay, capex is because if you are doing for any company, because for individual that is basic, but if you are working for some company, then capex is not just the price of the miner. So if the miner price is showing 8,000, that is not just the capex. Okay, so capex would be, yes, the cost plus shipping you have to pay, plus custom charges you have to pay, plus uh, maybe you have to add cooling system, extra cooling system. It depends which one you are purchasing. If you want, if you need to take it, then you have to add also. So everything will come under capex, okay? And even if any other rack setup or anything, okay? Extra power supply.
yeah, things like cooling as well, right?
Cooling, correct, yes, the cooling system, agree. And even sometimes what happens, people set a whole monitor system. So you will be anywhere in the world, you can able to control everything, all your thing. So for that you should have a monitor system. Through that you can check everything, if everything is working fine, because see, we are using this much electricity, anything can happen, right? So you have to make sure all the monitoring system. So every big companies will be having a monitoring system installed. They will make sure all the temperature and everything, and anything happens, they will cut down all the power supply and they will make sure they will give the notification, all those things. So everything will comes under capex, which is a one-time investment, because whatever we are discussing it here, these are generally one-time investment. Yes, maybe you need to change the rack, you need to change the cooling system, but you don't need to do it monthly or yearly. Maybe once in a 5 year, It depends. So this is a mostly one type investment. OpEx is mostly your operational
Was
expenses as
actually my
yeah.
key question,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
It's not one time, right? It's once in 5 years, it's once in 3 years.
Yes,
I don't know, right? How does it depreciate, right? Because I think over time, its mining efficiency, it will get obsolete in a couple of
correct.
years.
And yes, and even I would always say you never know after 4 years what will happen. After halving, how much difficulty will get increased, we are not sure, right? And that time it might happen. I can give you an example, right? So earlier we used to we can use NVIDIA GPUs and we were profitable, right? Means anyone who were using NVIDIA GPUs were profitable. But after halving in a few years, people are not profitable who are using NVIDIA GPUs because the efficiency is not that much and difficulty also get increased. So you need so much energy and as I mentioned, like the OpEx we have to make sure and most of the OpEx part is your electricity cost. So yes, then you have to go to ASIC and we are also not sure. Maybe then the high performance ASIC would come into the picture and you have to move to those as well. So what I always suggest, whatever you are investing, that always feel that would be uh, maybe a 4 or 5 years investment. Maybe you need to do again as well. Not the fully, but maybe if you need to change, because if you're a big company, maybe you don't need to change the control board, PSU, and all those things. Maybe ASIC you have to improve and all those things. So yes, this is not always one-time investment, as you mentioned, but this will not be a recurring investment. So that's why it always comes under capex. And operation expenses are which you have to pay generally monthly, which you have to pay on monthly basis. So if you have one employee which is taking care and you are giving him salary, then that is also a part of OpEx because you are doing these expenses monthly basis. Okay, so most of the monthly expenses and these expenses will come under OpEx. So you have to always calculate your OpEx because as individual cases, you will be only taking care of. You don't need to do anything if everything is working fine, right? But in a big company or scenario, maybe something because if you have 2,000s of miners, something might happen. Maybe every week, either one miner is not working, another miner has some issue. Now the hashing got stopped. So these things will keep coming and someone has to debug and all those things. So yes, everything you have to cover under OpEx part. Yeah. Anyone has any question, any doubts, or anything else? Anything, even queries related to the previous session, you are free to ask any question which you have regarding this Bitcoin mining or anything. Okay, so in the next session, mostly we will be covering as I discussed the Bitcoin mining pools. Even we will try to calculate the cost